G'day, this is Simon and James. Welcome back to South OC Cars and Coffee on what is traditionally our largest show of the year, 4th of July weekend here, and it's absolutely crazy. Turn out of some interesting cars.
We have some interesting stuff.
Understatement of the year. What do we got?
Yeah, so we have a Carrera GT that pulled up, and I was like, oh, you know, it's a pretty cool car. And then followed it with 2 CHIRONs and then an Apollo IE from Hyper NFT. So second time that Hyper NFT IO Apollo has showed up. So that car is just mental. Pulls a crazy crowd. We'll check it out in just a moment. What have you seen?
It's so many cool hot rods. I mean, there's been some really great looking stuff with blowers. 57 Chev I saw with a blower on it. Real old school stuff, which of course I love as well. Absolutely crazy. Hey, don't forget, if you're coming to South OC Cars and Coffee, please remember our rules: no speeding, no revving, no burnouts. That includes coming to the show and leaving the show, including getting on and off the freeway and on the streets of San Clemente as well. Keeps the neighbours happy, keeps us happy, keeps the show going. So please remember to do that. All right, mate, let's go for a walk and check some things out.
Let's do it.
I don't think we've ever had a better pedigree of cars lined up at the show. Starting off with Ed's amazing F40, regular here. Love this car. Next to it, have a look at this Carrera GT. This thing looks amazing in this dark green colour with that dark brown interior. Look at the wheels on this thing as well. Now, next to it, from Hyper NFT, Ben has brought this guy, if I can break through the crowd to show it.
Quite the lineup here in the hypercar row. Here we have the Apollo IE. It's the second time that we've had this car back this year, brought to us by hypernft.io. Make sure you guys go check out his Instagram. This car is nuts. A full exposed carbon. It's essentially a race car. Red guts on the inside of this car. Probably the most aggressive looking lines of any car that you'll ever see. Take a look at the back end of this thing. It's just wild. This crazy fixed wing. And then next to it we have the full exposed Bugatti Chiron PUR Sport. This car is wild. You can see it says the PUR Sport logo on the side. Black and blue interior. Again, full exposed carbon with a really nice gloss finish. And then here we have the normal Chiron. I believe this might be a Super Sport. I'm not sure the exact trim on this one, but another one brought to us by Hyper NFT. You can see this one has the matte carbon finish on it. Blue and black interior. This car is stunning. Big thank you to Ben for bringing all these cars out. We can't wait to see what he brings next time.
Now, here's a car that is appreciated through the roof. Now, I must admit, the first time I saw one of these when I moved to the US, this is a Z8, or as I'd say as an Australian, a Z8. I saw one of these in a dealership. Man, I wish I bought it because they've gone up so much since then. I totally didn't get it. Apparently built for the US market, but one of the things they did, which I never really understood, notice the gauges are actually in the center of the car. It's actually an amazing car. It's really well engineered. It's a beautiful car. I remember seeing that going, who would put the gauges in the middle of the dash? But as I said, these things have appreciated more than just about any other car. So those people that bought them, hung on to them, man, it was one of the best investments you could make. I mentioned that this is one of the biggest shows we ever had. Just look back, even the Overflow Lot, and I was downstairs below, and even that was absolutely filled with cars. It is an insane morning. Look how many spectators we have here.
When I feel like this, I'm
This is what I mean by full. Just crazy. The Overflow Lot, not even the exotics row. Turbo S, GT3 over here, 720S over there. 2 more 720S's there. It's absolutely crazy this morning, as you can see.
No, I'm never turning back. I won't stop. I'ma fight until there's nothing left. It's so what? You're gonna be hurting bad, cause I've been to hell and back. You don't wanna make me mad. I stay strong. You will never see me crack. And if you get in my way.
This is pretty special, huh? Once again, just in the Overflow Lot opposite the motorcycles sitting over here. This thing is just absolutely beautiful. Shout out to the Polestar team, one of our longest standing sponsors, always doing a great job. These guys, their cars are amazing. This is the Polestar 2. We used to have the Polestar 1, which was actually their hybrid carbon fibre car, and then of course the Polestar 3, which we launched here a few months ago, which is an incredible car coming out really soon. These are such great cars. Make sure to check them out, polestar.com, to book a test drive, or if it's South Coast Plaza, go in and check out those guys, because they actually have a lot of cool stuff on the floor in South Coast Plaza.
I'm not a saint, you mad? Your sugar-coated doll is not so pure, my bad. I don't give a. You're stepping on me and they call my mama, touch you better than that. You're mad, I guess you're mad. Wore my best pajama for this drama. Why you talking like that, like that, like that? I'm not gonna spend the night, I'm talking. You got bad things on your mind, keep walking. Spit your words on someone else. Don't act like you're so obsessed with me, with me. You know that I ain't coming back.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is a Lincoln Continental. This is a second generation 56, 57. Now, what I want you to look at when you think of this car, you think about what Chevy was doing in 1956, 1957. Cadillac, Chevrolet, Pontiac, any of those GM companies. This was the first of these long, slender designs that really came out that changed the way car designers were building cars. So we went from those bubble style cars that you saw, imagine a Tri-5 Chevy, 56, 57 Chevy, into this look. And of course the next Chevys that came out, I don't think they even looked as modern as this thing still does. This is absolutely beautiful. I guess it's been restored, a little hard to tell, but just a magnificent car, and a car that really changed the way designers saw the look of cars, away from that bubble top into these long, slender designs. So it's a very, very iconic car.
You know that I ain't coming back, I'm sorry. Read my lips, you do not like that. You're drowning without me. Take it away.
Great looking hot rod here for sale, 1933 Plymouth. You know, you see a lot of Chevys of this era, Fords of this era. You don't see a lot of Plymouth, Dodge Brothers, those sort of things. So when I see them, it's always great to see. This car running a small block Chev underneath there, but also decent supercharger on it as well. This thing, I'm sure, makes good power. Big rubber on the back. It's a classic looking hot rod from this sort of era. Honestly, I don't mind if it's a Chevy, if it's a Ford, if it's this. They all look just as good from this era. This is the hot rod look for me. Now, we normally see one of these old classic Chargers at the show, but there's two side by side. I think I saw a third one up on the other side. Isn't that great? I love seeing these old Mopars. We just saw that Dodge hot rod. Now to see these side by side, oh, it's great.
Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
Something else gorgeous from the Mopar family. Have a look at this 446 pack. Really doesn't get much better than that. This thing is amazing. Beautiful color. This is so special. Graphics look great on it. Wow, I love that. These classic Challengers, Chargers, all that era, so good.
I blow up from the basement, statement. The top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, some losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip, you choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift. Oh.
Great lineup of cars here, starting with this guy here. This is a 409. It's actually a rear motor, easy to tell. See the scalloped valve covers on these? They did two motors, two sizes, using this design, and only for a few years before they went away from it, then went to what we know as now as the small block and the big block. So that's kind of cool. Next to it, 34, could be 33, beautiful, running a small block Chev, high-rise manifold, couple of Edelbrock carbs on that thing. That thing looks stuffed. Look at the butterflies with the LEDs in it. Next to it, 1957 Chevrolet, great looking car. This thing's running a big block with an 871 blower on it, a couple of 750 double pumper Hollies up there. What a great looking car. Old school, classic 57 Tri-Fi look, which is just amazing. I love this era of car, and I love it when it's sort of old school stuff hanging out through the hood. It's the way we do it in Australia, and I think it just looks right for this era.
With you, just go get your own tissue. I feel like I'm losing my mind.
The Hemi hits keep coming today. This is beautiful too, and the special thing about this is, in the words of Joe Dirt, it's a Hemi. This is a 426 Hemi. You can tell, of course, because the high tension leads go down into the valve covers. So that's sitting there. That's pretty darn cool. And then next to it, look at this over here, another one, bit of a survivor as well. Also a Hemi. So great to see two classic Hemis. Of course, the Hemi was what you wanted in these. You can get a 440. There's all sorts of different regular small blocks, but the 440 and the 426 Hemi were the ones to get, and of course the 426 is the one to get. Next to it, not to be outshone, is this beautiful looking Cadillac as well. This thing is super cool.
I need to run away from this and go get off the grid. Feel like my brain is overloaded, man, I'm losing it. Don't let them tell you what to do, man, they don't know shit.
Check out this super clean Bronco. This thing's beautiful. Have a look under the hood. It's got a Coyote motor under there. And that's no mean feat, because these things are actually a ton wider than the traditional small block that would have been in this, like a 302, for example. So it takes a bit of work. They typically will need to cut out strut tails. Not as bad in a Bronco as it is an earlier Mustang, but this thing's beautiful. Great color, lovely looking interior. If you look at that, all done in that diamond stitch in there, and yet keeping it relatively simple aside from obviously the modern stereo in there. Love the steel wheels as well. This is really tastefully done.
That is it for a extremely large weekend here at South OC Cars and Coffee, the 4th of July weekend. It was an insane turnout. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Please remember, if you are coming to South OC Cars and Coffee, remember to respect our rules: no revving, no speeding, and no burnouts. That does include coming in and out of the event, driving through the streets of San Clemente, and then also getting on and off those freeways. I want to say a huge thank you to all the sponsors for helping us put on this event. We have the Bracketeer, We're Marketing, McGuire's, Polestar, PDM Brands, Next Level Auto Protection, Vetstein Law, Happy Jewelers, and Carbontastic as well. And then I want to say a huge thank you to all the volunteers that help us put on this event each and every week. We could not do it without you guys. If you guys want to become a volunteer, hit us up on Instagram at South OC Cars and Coffee Merch, where we handle all the volunteer rostering. And then while you're over there, check out some of the new designs. We've got hats, t-shirts, hoodies, everything that you guys could possibly want. If you guys are volunteering at South OC Cars and Coffee, you get to bring your car in before 8:30, and then Ruby's Diner does also provide a free coffee and donut for everyone helping us out.
Yeah, big thank you to Ruby's for doing that. We really appreciate that. And of course, feeding the masses, and boy, there's some masses here today. Huge number of spectators, more than I've ever seen, I think. Big thank you to the outlets to San Clemente for allowing us to be here. Remember, if you need to do some shopping, come to the outlets, tell them South OC Cars and Coffee sent you. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. Hey, thanks so much for spending some time with us. Have a great week. We'll see you back here next week for another South OC Cars and Coffee.
Thank you guys.